Hey everybody, Shannon Marin here with Luxx Life Global, and I have the pleasure of introducing you to my friend Alex Routh, who is a global insurance broker. He's who I have my global insurance plan with.
Health insurance,
sorry. And I have to tell you that is probably one of the biggest, most often asked questions that I get is, what about your Canadian health insurance? Because whether you know it or not, if you are out of Canada for more than 6 months, you do not have your Canadian health insurance. That's what holds a lot of Canadians hostage in Canada for 6 months. And with the help of Alex here, we've got onto a really great global medical plan. It covers me when I'm in Canada, when I'm in Mexico, or when I'm traveling around. He's here to tell us all about it today. I have a list of questions so I don't forget all the important things to ask Alex. And he's going to get started telling us about the different plans, why you need them, and also about the plans that seem really, really good on the surface, but aren't so good when it comes to paying out claims. So anyways, Alex, thank you so much, my friend.
Okay. Fire away.
Hey, fire away. You ready? Okay, let's do it. All right. So first question here is, what is IPMI?
International Private Medical Insurance, that's what IPMI stands for, is a specialty niche insurance industry for which there's virtually no information or meaningful information on the web. And most people don't know about it, and it's very difficult to get good information on it.
Okay, all right. So I forgot to mention in the introduction that Alex has also written a book to explain all of the differences between the different policies and what you should be doing and what you shouldn't. So why did you write the book?
I wrote the book once again because there is no meaningful information to be found on the web for this. And the worst product on the planet comes up first when you search for international health insurance using Google search. And there are terrible things in some of these products. I call them policy ticking time bombs. And you really have to have industry experience in experiencing with claims and these policies going off to understand how they detonate and how they can affect you in a negative way, costing you literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in claim denials. So unfortunately, people buy these policies innocently, not understanding what they've got. But the good news is there are good policies. And you don't have to pay more. You just have to understand what the differences are. And so that's why I wrote the Buyer Beware Guide of International Private Medical Insurance, or the Caveat Emptor Guide, which is now a 5-star rated Amazon title. And I'd be happy to send anybody a free copy of the short book. It'll make you an informed consumer.
Congratulations. Good job.
It's the only book.
Okay. So what is the most important thing to consider on your policy?
The most important thing to consider is the wording on pre-existing medical conditions. I categorize them as the good, the bad, and the ugly. The pre-existing condition, medical condition, is analogous to you buying car insurance after you had the car accident. They're not going to cover it. So any pre-existing condition, medical history you had prior to buying the policy generally is not covered. And that would be the bad wording. Any pre-existing conditions are excluded. So the good wording is pre-existing conditions are excluded, and here's the golden qualifying phrase, except those conditions which you could not have been reasonably aware of. And the opposite end of the spectrum, the ugly policy wording, is pre-existing conditions are excluded, even those unknown conditions that you could not have been reasonably aware of, and those not known conditions are excluded. So the classic case was, early in my career, I had a lady who was 3 years into her policy. She had a policy with bad wording. I didn't understand things 25 years ago the way I do now. And she was denied in the 3rd year for a bowel cancer claim because the insurer said, we've done a reverse extrapolation of this tumor that the pathologist report came up with, and we have determined with medical certainty that it existed more than 3 years ago, prior to the inception of the policy. Therefore, we understand you were asymptomatic for it. We understand that you could not have known it existed, but nevertheless, it's excluded. So if she'd had the good policy wording, they would have paid that claim. And the good policy wordings don't cost more. You just have to understand what to look for. And the key things I point out in my book are what I call instant reject phrases. So reasonable medical certainty is one of those reject phrases. So if you get a PDF of the policy wording, search for that word certainty. And if it comes up, you know exactly that it's an instant reject policy. Same thing with the word unknown. If it's in there, it's almost certainly an ugly wording on pre-existing conditions. So,
great advice. I do want to make a quick note here too that the plan that I have with Alex is really, really reasonable. I'm not paying an arm and a leg for this policy. I am paying about the same as I would have paid for my BC extended medical when I was entitled to it. So it's really, really reasonable. Just a note. Okay, so what is your job? What's the job of a broker?
The job of a broker is to provide for clients the best combination of good in terms of product quality and inexpensive.
Okay.
So there are lots of good products out there which are expensive. My joke is that Cigna, for example, if you are traumatized by the social stigma of low price in health insurance, then buy Cigna.
There you go.
So it's a good policy. But
it really pays to know your stuff and compare the different policies.
I should point out that I also sold a payment system to the whole industry for about 15 years, which enabled them to pay small claims directly to any Visa or MasterCard in the planet and do that in 50 currencies. So I went to trade shows. I understand all these companies. I know all their products. I met all the owners and the CEOs. So I'm I can probably name all 30 companies in the space.
Okay. You researched.
Well, most brokers only know 2 or 3, and
right, you know all.
And they're selling the bad ones because that's what's happening in Mexico.
Right, and I would think that that's the first thing that people look for, and they don't know the difference if they haven't met you and they haven't read your book. They're basing it on price, and until they have a claim, they feel secure. But once they have a claim and they have bad wording in their policy,
they don't know until they've had
they're not going to know.
They don't know until they've had the adverse result.
Right.
Until that policy ticking time bomb has exploded on them. But the good news is that the bad ones are actually not cheaper. You just have to know the difference.
You just have to know the difference. You have to have a chat with Alex and read the book. Yeah, okay. So how do claims get paid out? Directly to hospitals, or how does that happen?
In Mexico, my favorite insurer uses a managed care company, which has a direct billing network of 240 hospitals throughout Mexico, basically in every major hospital. In every major city, they have 300 medical professionals on call 24 hours. So if somebody ends up in a hospital, the insurer will always try to contact the hospital to direct bill. But if there's any resistance there, they immediately call the managed care company, and they come in and they arrange everything. Last December, I had a $645,000 claim paid directly to a hospital in Mazatlan, obviously in tranches and stages. And that was facilitated by that managed care company. That's the biggest claim of my career. Wow.
That's quite something for Mexico, when healthcare is generally...
And I can guarantee you, bad policy wording or ugly would never have paid that claim.
Wow,
No
hey? Lucky. Yeah, okay. So what is the most popular plan?
Well, I'm not going to name the company because that's my intellectual property. You have to come to me to know my favorite. But what most people buy as expats, not only in Mexico but anywhere, is they buy a hospital plan typically. And, just like every car has 4 wheels, the design of these products is similarly analogous. They all have exact similarities in certain ways. So all of them have a hospital benefit level, typically $1 million of cover. People take that with a biggish deductible. Why? Because a hospital event in anybody's life is a rare event. So you're going to take a bigger deductible with those types of plans that don't have outpatient. And these plans typically cover outpatient that's related to a hospitalization event. They cover full cancer, cover inpatient and outpatient, and evacuation. What else? I think that's the type of plan everybody buys. And why? Because in Mexico, outpatient treatment is inexpensive. So you pay for that yourself. You cover the big hits with the insurance. And you have an internationally portable policy. So let's say, for example, you have some rare form of cancer and you do internet searching, and the best place in the world for treatment outcomes is Switzerland. Get on the airplane and go. With respect to Canadians, the plan I offer, you can return to Canada for treatment if you wish. So that's very convenient. The same plan also has a worldwide cover option, which would allow Americans, for a greater expense, of course, to return to the USA for medical treatment.
Interesting bringing up the U.S. So one thing to mention on the plan there, some of your plans do cover, like for us, for example, where we spend, a month, maybe a little bit more in the U.S. We spend 6 or 7 months in Mexico, a few months in Canada, but there is an add-on for the U.S., so you don't have to pay that U.S. premium for the whole plan. Is that correct?
Correct. So some plans have out-of-area cover. So if you have geographical cover worldwide, excluding the USA, they have a 30-day period where you can spend time in your out-of-area geographical area, which in this case would be the USA. But for people that want the worldwide cover, excluding USA solution, the cheapest and the most popular, there is a travel insurance solution which you can buy, which will allow American expats to travel cover for visits home, and for Canadians who visit the USA also to have. It's an inexpensive solution.
Yeah. So it's great for a month or 2 months or trips back and forth.
You can do it for longer, but
yeah. Okay.
But the worldwide cover option for the plan, my favorite insurer, allows you 180 days per policy year in the USA. It allows you to return to the USA for medical treatment. It allows you to be evacuated to the USA if necessary. And typically it's about twice the expense of the worldwide excluding USA cover.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. It's available if somebody wanted to, but otherwise the rest of the policy is, like
for example,
said,
I just quoted somebody that was working as a parks director in some city in California. And he's just retiring now, and his COBRA for the next couple of years is going to be $1,600 a month for his 53-year-old wife and himself, who's 57. So I quoted him $650 a month for worldwide cover, including the USA. So he's saving $1,000 a month there.
Wow, that's great. That's really
But
good.
it's limited to 180 days per policy year.
Yep. Okay. All right. Good. So, that all being said, anybody that's interested in learning more about Alex's policies, I'm going to ask him in a minute to tell you where you can reach out to Alex. But I definitely want to recommend it. Like I said, it's an affordable, properly worded policy.
You want the good ones.
In order to understand that, you should also get a copy of Alex's book by either contacting him directly or jumping onto Amazon.
I set it at the lowest possible price on Amazon of $2.50. So
okay, all right.
That's about it. That's half a beer for me.
There you go. Buy Alex a beer and he'll send you a copy.
I can stop drinking water.
There you go. So, what's the name of the book and how do they find it? What's the title?
It's called The Caveat Emptor Guide of Expat International Health Insurance.
Okay.
Caveat emptor being the Latin phrase for buyer beware.
Okay. All right. And a direct contact for you is email, phone. How's the best way?
I
to
do
get
most of my connections these days. People reach out to me on WhatsApp.
Okay.
+1 829 371 4534. I'm sure you're going to put it up.
I'm going to put that in the
and
comments.
of course my email address. You're welcome to contact me there.
Which is
Alex@worldexpathealth.com.
okay. All right. That is super, super good information. I have to tell you, originally, I think I stumbled across Alex on YouTube, watched a couple of videos, and until I actually got on a 45-minute conversation with him over the phone, I did not understand. I mean, I was online searching Cigna and all these other ones and all of that, and I did not understand the difference between the policies until Alex educated me and like he is today in this video. So really, not all policies are created equal. And we will be putting Alex's contact information in the description. If you need to reach out, if you are traveling to Mexico, you're traveling to Europe, you're traveling around the world, whatever it may be, or to the US, please do reach out to Alex, and he will make sure you're taken care of in case of an emergency.
I'll do my best.
Okay.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.